Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 8. Don't know why I read that out like I'm a boxing announcer or something. But yeah, we are around the, I think it's 3 week mark until The Flash is back from this, much longer than usual break to get on with the rest of Season 8. Feels like I've been on a sabbatical or something. I don't know. I've just been away. It just feels weird that we're getting to it being back. But even though it went on that break, we aren't even at the halfway point, roughly, of the season like we usually would be for a break like this. We are only 5 episodes in and we still have 13 to go because there's 18 episodes this season. But a lot is still unknown about these upcoming 13 episodes. Sure, we know, some little things here and there, but nothing like when you're going into whether it's Armageddon, for example, or just previous seasons as a whole. And even with that, you really couldn't predict what was going to happen next, in regards to Armageddon. It was catching us off guard at every point at every point and every turn in the story. Now, of course, we might get some more promo stuff and just general information about, the upcoming episodes in the next week or two when the lead up to the return. But that's for us to wait and see. They might just not tell us anything. They might just surprise us when we come back in. To be honest, Armageddon, I think, released one trailer and then it just premiered. Those little things like some interviews and stuff, but that didn't really give us, any spoilers and stuff. There was one trailer, then it premiered, and to be honest, I enjoyed that. Yeah, that was pretty fun because it did surprise us. So they might do something similar for the return, but then again, we know that we're coming back with some interlude episodes, which still look like fun, but they're not, I don't think, like story heavy because they're interlude episodes. They're outside of those story arcs and graphic novels. So who knows what they'll do in regards to promotional stuff. But one thing that is always on our minds when it comes to a show like The Flash, and we sort of got a taste of it in Armageddon, in the Armageddon event, to kick off the season, is that of stakes. Now, I'm not talking like a ribeye or a T-bone, but the stakes of our characters on the show. Are their lives in danger and everything like that? Of course, some characters are going to have immunity or plot protection, like Barry and Iris, for example. But all the other characters don't really have that levels. Sure, there's characters like Caitlin and Joe, who have been staples of the show since season 1, and they should be safe because it can feel very forced to kill off someone like that later into a show. You may as well, it just feels forced. Like a lot of shows do it for dramatic purposes, but fans don't really like it. Just like, why did you do that? You could have done that in season 3, but now you're doing it in season 8 or 9. Like, why? It just feels very forced. But of course, most of us, bought into it within Armageddon, and we were wondering what the hell was going on when Joe was revealed as dead. But then, of course, he ended up being alive, but that was after fixing things and bringing him back to life, or was it erasing his death? That's probably the best way to put it. Erasing his death rather than bringing him back to life. But you might be wondering, well, why the hell am I bringing all this up? Well, thanks to some stuff from social media and the filming schedule for The Flash later into the season, we are going to a funeral. I say that like we're going to a theme park, but we're going to a funeral. I mean, pray hands emoji, you think, maybe? I don't know, whatever. So a couple of the actresses from The Flash posted themselves in funeral attire late last week. These two ladies being Kayla Compton, who plays Allegra, and I don't have a photo of it as it was on her Instagram story, and I didn't capture it because I'm a dum-dum, but anyway. And the second being Candice Patton, who of course plays Iris. Now, Candice actually posted on her regular Instagram feed, or whatever you'd call it, with the caption of "Till death do us part, but you first," rose emoji, tombstone emoji. Now, along with this, there was also a notice put out to the, people of Vancouver, man, that The Flash will be filming at a cemetery, which is the one we have been to many times throughout the Arrowverse, not just on The Flash, but of course, just like Arrow, Supergirl, like Legends, the crossovers, everything like that. But of course, for The Flash, we went there for like H.R. Wells' funeral, I think Henry Allen, I guess for a crossover, Martin Stein, and even in like future scenes in episodes like when Barry saw an older Joe at Iris's grave in season 3. So it's a familiar area in a weird sort of way due to the amount of deaths that, have been on the show. Though we don't have a funeral for everyone that has died, I don't think at least, or at least we don't go to them and have a scene take place for certain deaths. But in regards to this funeral that is being filmed on the show, who the hell is it for? Because it's like, well, hold on, is someone dying? But throughout the video, let me know in the comment section down below who you think it could be. If you have some evidence, feel free to put that down there. If you just want to put someone that you want to die, then maybe fair enough, even though that's probably not that that helpful for the discussion. But yeah, let me know who you think it could be. And maybe, yeah, you might get a feeling. You might just get a hunch that something's happening with a certain character. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support and help out the channel. Now, the first thing that has to be brought up is that we don't know exactly the storyline for the next arc or arcs of the Flash for sure. We have some inklings due to some things that have been said on, that have been seen on set, such as the comic cover for the Legion of Zoom storyline, not Doom, but Zoom storyline. But that isn't 100% confirmed, so we can't act like, you know, that's a real thing or 100% happening for this video in this discussion. So we will have to make our assumptions based off other things. With the next thing being the fact that the two characters we know are going to this funeral so far and we should assume are alive are Allegra and Iris. That means it is someone known to Team Flash most likely, or it could be a character connected to the Central City Citizen, because of course Allegra works for Iris there. Now we of course did meet that new group of people working at the Citizen in the first episode of this season, I think it was, and though we aren't 100% sure they are still going to factor into the season when we do pick up again, I doubt any of those characters would warrant them filming a funeral scene. Like, oh, random character, I don't even know any of their names. You know, and we're meant to have a funeral for them in like, what, 10 episodes time or something? I don't see it happening. It has to be a character that, I mean, no offense, like matters and means something to the, you know, something to the show and just the storyline, you'd have to think. So due to that, you would have to think it has to be someone either on Team Flash or connected to Team Flash. So when I say connected, I would mean someone like Sue Dearborn. She is connected to Team Flash, but she's not on Team Flash. While like Chester, for example, is on Team Flash. That's just how you distinguish the two. But let's jump into it. Who could have died? Now, the thing that has to be mentioned, of course, we said Allegra and Iris were seen in the funeral attire. Now, this doesn't mean that neither of them are dying. I've said Iris has the plot protection, probably not going to be Iris, but it could be either of them too. We have to just flash back to Arrow Season 4, when Laurel Lance died. They had Katie Cassidy on set when they filmed that funeral in a funeral attire to fool people. She was there on set for her own funeral, but she obviously wasn't in the scene. So it was to throw people off so people couldn't guess who the funeral was for. So they could be doing that as well. Just keep that in mind. But I'm going to start off with, and this is just based off Candice Patton's caption, and that's Barry. And I'm basing that off the caption because it says, "Till death do us part, but you first." So obviously that's like the whole marriage thing, till death do us part, but you first. So it's not talking about her, it's talking about Barry. So RIP Barry. Now, do I think this is real? No, I don't think Barry's dying, because this is not the end of season 8 either. There's still, I think they've got 3 episodes to go after the episode that this funeral was taking place in. So unless they're doing 3 episodes without Barry and then the show's ending, I don't think that's happening. I think there's just maybe if it is something to do with Barry and it is his funeral, it's some weird nightmare vision sort of thing. We know that they're doing some horror stuff or like a horror-based villain, so maybe it's making people think that Barry died, or it's some sort of nightmare that Iris is having in particular where Barry does die, something along those lines. But I think we've gone and touched the area where Barry's died, because we already had that like leading into like the whole Crisis thing and Nora and everything like that in season 5, and then of course Iris in season 3. I think we've done enough of that. I don't think they would do that again. So I'm going to cross Barry off, even though you could argue the Candice Patton caption might be hinting at it. But also, would she spoil it? And the answer is probably no. But I don't know. Maybe she thought it was just being cryptic or something, but not overly cryptic. So I'm going to say no. Barry's not dying, even though I saw a lot of people on social media theorizing that based off the caption. Next up, Ronnie. We know that Ronnie is in this season. He's coming back, and it seems it's in present day because he's in 2 episodes. I don't think it's going to be 2 episodes of flashback stuff. There was those set photos with the guy in the grey suit with a quantum splicer looking to be on his chest. His scenes were with Caitlin and or Frost. So it could be Ronnie and they're doing a proper funeral for him, because it's important to remember we didn't get his body. His body just disappeared into the singularity last time. So maybe they actually officially have his body and they can actually hold a proper funeral, because that's a big thing for people. Holding a funeral without a body in an empty casket doesn't feel right. So if they actually have Ronnie's body and they can actually do it properly, then that might happen. And that plays into the next option as well, and that being Eddie. Eddie's body got sucked into the singularity. Now, of course, the question of the singularity has always been a thing post-Crisis, but we know it actually happened. We just don't know the connectivity to the multiverse and what happened afterward with Zoom and everything like that. That's still a question that we don't know, but the singularity still happened. Eddie died, or Eddie shot himself and got sucked in. So maybe something happens with Eddie. We know he's coming back. It's in the present day. Maybe he dies again, or maybe it's like a temporary being alive sort of thing. So he's got like an expiration date where he will pass away, but they do have a body for him, which once again they can hold a funeral for. So once again, very similar to Ronnie, they didn't have a body and they can actually hold a funeral for Eddie. So yeah. The next option is one that could potentially be the case, and that's Frost. Now, I'm not saying Caitlyn. I said Caitlyn has some sort of immunity, and I think she still does. I think like her, Joe, Iris, and Barry are like the four that, like, I'd be shocked if they died, just because I don't think people would even support it. It'd just be like sort of forced. But Frost, for example, we know is disconnected from Caitlyn, so maybe Frost dies. Now, I say this because they struggle to implement Frost and also work around the Caitlyn and Frost being separate entities now. I think separating them worked for a tiny bit, but I think at the end, it just sort of complicates things, how they're always separate, even though I think it just complicates things. So maybe they kill off Frost. That's an option. Maybe there's some battle. Maybe with that grey suited dude. We know that like there was scenes with them and maybe something turns and Frost does die. Not too sure, but that is an option. And the final option is that it's just multiple funerals. It's multiple people who have passed away on the show, but maybe never had proper funerals. So Team Flash has their own like group funeral for all of the people that have fallen that never actually got that proper ceremony. Because as I said, we have this horror-based thing coming in this season. Nightmarish to an extent, I think, is like a term that's being used. Like Eddie coming back to life, Ronnie coming back to life. Who knows who else is going to come back to life? And once again, they could have like that temporary thing where they're not meant to exist. Or maybe stopping the villain takes away their life but keeps their body there. So maybe their bodies are reanimated by whoever this villain is, but they're not really alive. You know, it's like the villain controlling them to an extent or keeping them alive for a purpose. Something along those lines. So it could be like a multiple funeral sort of thing that's going on. That's probably a far out one. And I'd say it's probably just going to be for one person. But when we know that there's multiple people coming back from the dead, or that we're led to believe we're dead this season, maybe that's the case where we have more than one funeral going on at one certain time. Of course, that's only a few options, but those are the ones that like I actually see happening outside of the Barry one. But I just wanted to address because people were going too deep into that caption from Candice Patton. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Barry gets his head decapitated or something. I'm not too sure. Now, just one little last thing to mention. I'll probably mention this in another video when more details come out about it. But Eric Wallace, the showrunner for The Flash, is actually directing an episode later this season. I think it's episode 15 or 16. I'm not too sure exactly which one it is, but I think it's one of those two. Or maybe it could be 17 as well. I don't think it's the finale. So it's either 15, 16, or 17, one of those three. He's not the first one to do it. Mark Guggenheim directed an episode of Legends, and he was an executive producer on that show. But he wasn't the showrunner at that point. So Eric Wallace is going to be show running while also directing an episode. So that'll be pretty interesting. I wonder if he wrote the episode as well. He'll get all the credits for the episode. And I wonder if it's a big episode and that's why he wants to do it. I don't know. I'm curious, but I just thought I'd include that little bit of information that came out over the past couple of days. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on everything we went over. Let me know, who do you think is the likely one to die? Do you think it's someone important? Do you think it's an obscure character that's still connected to Team Flash and warrants having a funeral scene? Let me know all that in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.